Welcome! Here's the scenario. You have been provided with the following spreadsheet, which only contains 11 rows and 4 columns. This spreadsheet contains the number of secondary school teachers by age and by gender for the year 2020 for the geographical area of Scotland in the UK. The task is to compare the number of females to males in each age range, and to do this I will import the data to an R script, do some data manipulation, and then plot the data in a bar chart using the ggplot2 package. I have set up an R script called teachers.r, and this file is saved on my desktop in a folder called Teachers. Into this folder I have also put the Excel spreadsheet called School Teachers. In the R script I have set my working directory, and then I've loaded the package read Excel to allow the Excel spreadsheet to be read. Then I have set up a data frame called Teachers, and into that data frame I've put read_xlsx and then the name of my spreadsheet, School Teachers. If I now run that code, over in the global environment, you can see that Teachers has loaded with 10 observations or 10 rows of data and 4 variables or 4 columns. If we click on Teachers to see the data which has been brought in, we can see that the first row of our spreadsheet becomes the header row here, and that's in line with expectations. And then we have the 10 rows containing the 10 different age ranges. So let's go back to our R script. We've loaded in the data and we can now do some data manipulation. If we look at Teachers again, we can see that our last column is total. And I don't require that column, so I will remove it. Note that it is the 4th column. So if I go back to my R script, I would like my altered data frame to still be called Teachers. So I type Teachers, and into Teachers I feed Teachers, and then square brackets, do a comma. I put nothing before the comma because I want to keep all rows of my data frame when it's altered, and then I put -c bracket 4 because I would like to remove the 4th column. If I now run that line of code and we go back to our Teachers data frame, you can see that the total column has been removed. I have a separate video demonstrating how you can change the number of columns in a data frame, and I will put a link to that video in this video's description. I will now change the name of the first column from age space range to age_range. And the only reason I am doing that is in the past I've had a few issues with ggplot2 trying to render a column if the name has a space in it. If you know why this happens to me sometimes and not others, I'm happy to hear your feedback in the comments. I type in call names, brackets, the name of my data frame, which is Teachers. Come outside the brackets, put a square bracket, and inside the square bracket put the digit 1. And then I feed into it, inside the double quote marks, I just put the name of my column, which is age_range. If I now run that line of code and then check my data frame, we can see the first column now is called age_range. The next thing to notice in the age range column is that when I come to do my bar chart, I would like the x-axis to contain the age range. And because it's categorical data, everything's split into categories. On the x-axis, it will automatically place everything in alphabetical order. That means for the age range column, under 25 would come last on the x-axis, and I would like it to come first. So to maintain the order of the categories in the current order shown in rows 1 to 10, I need to manipulate the data frame. So if I go back to teachers, to specify the order of categories, I will use factor. So I begin by saying that I want to change my teachers $age range column to feed in factor brackets, the name of the column, which is teachers $age range, comma, then I do levels equals, and here it is where I specify my order. In this case, I want to keep the same order as shown in the spreadsheets from rows 1 to 10. So to do that, I just create a list of them by doing C bracket teachers $age range square brackets and then another list. So C brackets from rows 1 colon to 10. Now if I run that line of code, you will not notice at this point any change, but you will do when we come to do the bar charts. So please trust me on this one. Another point to note is at times in the past I've had difficulties with using levels C and listing things this way. If you have that issue, what you might have to do is inside levels is actually name each individual category, which in this case would look a bit like this. Wherein at levels, everything is listed out. I don't need that in this case for this video, so I will just remove that line. Now moving on to our last data manipulation item. If we go back to our teachers data frame, we currently have female and male in separate columns. When we come to do our bar chart, we require both the word female and the word male to be in the same column, not in two columns. To remedy this, I will do a pivot. So if we go back into teachers, up at the top to do a pivot, I will use the tidyr package. So at the top, I'm loading in library bracket tidyr and just run that line of code to load the package. Then back down inside my code, I type teachers because I would still like my amended data frame to be called teachers. And then I feed in pivot underscore longer. And the reason I use longer is because the list of items in the data frame is going to increase. Then I type in teachers, my data frame, comma, then calls equals C because I want to create a list. And inside here, I put the name of the two columns, which I'll be altering. So I put inside double quote marks, female, come outside my double quotes, comma, another set of double quote marks, and male. I come outside my closing bracket, do a comma, then names, underscore 2 equals, and the name of my new column containing the words male and female. So double quote marks, I will call my column gender, come outside my double quote marks and put a comma, then values underscore 2 equals, and the values which are currently in the female and the male column end up in a new column, and I'm going to call that column number. It will all become clearer in a moment when I run the line of code. Click run. Now if I go across to the global environment, you will see that I've now got 20 observations and 3 variables. And if I click on teachers, you can see that gender now contains the word male and female, and the number of females in each age range is in the number column and the number of males in each age range is in the number column. So that looks good. Let's go back to teachers. I'll just save the file. That's all our data manipulation done. So now we can create our bar chart. To do that, I'm going to use ggplot2. So up in the library section, I'm going to type library bracket ggplot2 and run that line of code to load the package. Back in my code, I will call my diagram bar chart. So I type bar chart to give the diagram a name and I feed into it ggplot and nothing else. But all I'm saying at the moment is I want to create a plot. Now onto my bar chart. I want to take what's already in my bar chart, so bar chart, and I want to add on an actual bar chart. And to do that, I'm going to use geom_call. Open my brackets, tell the diagram which data to use. So data equals teachers, comma. Then we add aesthetics to the diagram. So AES bracket. We tell it that the X axis should come from age range, so X equals age_range. We tell it that the Y axis should come from number, so Y equals number, comma, and then to make sure we get the two bar charts, we say fill equals gender. Then outside the bracket for the aesthetics, I do a comma and then I type position equals, in double quote marks, Dodge, because I want the columns to be side by side. And in a new row, I type bar chart to render the bar chart. Let's run our code for bar chart. So run these 3 lines and let's see if we've got a bar chart. Yes, my bar chart has loaded, and along the age range on the x-axis I can see that our categorical data is in order and we have a bar for each category for both male and for female. So it all looks good. Now I will make a few more aesthetic changes to this bar chart. So back in the code, I will add some labels now to the bar chart. So bar chart, and feed in the bar chart, which currently exists. And onto that, I want to add the labels. So add labs bracket. I will give the diagram a title. So let's say title equals, and my title will be Secondary School Teachers in Scotland in 2020. Outside my double quote marks, put a comma. Then for the x-axis, I would like to change it from age_range to just age range. So x equals, and inside double quote marks, age space range. Come outside my double quote marks, put a comma. For my y-axis, I would like to change it to y equals number of teachers. Come outside the brackets. I'm just going to put this onto a new line to make it easier for you to see. I would like to put at the bottom of the bar chart a caption. So I'm going to type caption equals, and my caption will be sources data supplied under an OGL, which stands for Open Government Licence, by the Scottish Government. Okay, that's my labels. If I run my plot again, and if I click the zoom button here to expand it, you can see that the title Secondary School Teachers in Scotland appears. My caption appears very small at the bottom of the screen, and my x-axis and my y-axis have changed. So that looks good. I would now like to make some changes to the theme of the bar chart. So I insert a new row above the last bar chart and type bar chart and feed into that the bar chart plus and theme. I would like to change the position of the caption, which was sitting at the bottom right of the diagram, to sit at the bottom left. And to do that, I just need to do plot.caption equals element text, because it's the text that's getting moved. And then I type in hjust equals 0, comma. Now hjust is the justification, and because I want it to sit to the left, I put in a 0 and that will automatically move it to the left. I type in face equals, and inside the double quote marks I type italic to make the text italic. I come outside my closing bracket and put a comma. Then I would like to move the position of the title of the diagram such that it still sits at the top, but it sits in the middle of the diagram. So to do that, I do plot.title equals, and again, element text. Inside the brackets, again, is hjust equals. Now, as left justified is 0, right justified is 1. Therefore, to put the text in the middle, I put in 0.5 to make the text halfway. I come outside my bracket, I put a comma, and then I'm just going to go into a new row to make this easier for you to view. I would like my legend to move from sitting at the right hand side of the diagram to sit underneath my title. And to do that, I just type in legend.position equals, inside double quote marks, I just put top. Come outside my double quote marks, put a comma. The other thing I would like to do is remove the grey background from the diagram. And to do that, I just type in panel.background equals and element blank. I just want it to be blank. Put a comma. Once the grey has been removed from the diagram, the white lines which currently run horizontal and vertical will no longer be viewable. However, to help the user judge the values of the height of each column, I would still like the Y lines to be visible. And therefore, to do this, I'm going to change their colour. Again, I'm just going to move my code down onto a new line to make this easier for you to see, and it's panel.grid.major.y, because it's the y-axis line we're going to change, and it's element underscore line. And I would like the colour to equal, inside double quote marks, grey. If I now run the code, let's see what happens. Again, I'm going to zoom to see a larger diagram. And that looks good. My title is in the middle. My legend is sitting underneath my title. My caption has moved to the left and it is in italics. The last thing I would like to do is change the colour of the bars. And there is a lot of colours inbuilt into R. If you were to run the code, just colours, open and close brackets, in the console you will see all these inbuilt colours. I am going to go back up to just underneath where I created the bar chart, and I'm going to specify my colours there. I'm just going to do this because I like to keep all my bar chart commands together. I'm going to set the values by saying it's gender underscore colours is what I will call it. And into that, I will feed a list. So I say C, open brackets, and I say for female, I want it to equal, inside double quote marks, dark green. Come outside my double quote marks, a comma, and then for male, I will say it equals, inside double quote marks, dark magenta because green and magenta are complementary colours. Okay, now back down in my bar chart area, above my last bar chart command, I put in bar chart and I feed into bar chart the bar chart so far, and then add on scale underscore fill underscore manual, and into there I say that the values equals gender colours. Now if I run all the code sitting underneath create bar chart, my bar chart appears, and clicking on zoom, you can see my final bar chart. For the task to show the number of females and the number of males teaching in secondary schools in Scotland in 2020 in a bar chart, I've completed my task. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and if you would like to hear more from me, please click the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.